Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of you for being here. Ms. Dunn Marcos, I'd like to start with you. And I've got a lot of material to cover, so if possible, I'd like to have you confine your answers to yes or no, if possible. So let me summarize some of what I understand about this process, about the ORR process. Now, once you get a child, you start looking for a sponsor, or alternatively, a sponsor may come to you. And then you do some kind of a precursory background check to figure out what's going on, to see if they've got any convictions in the United States. You don't ask if the sponsor is here legally. You don't check in the sponsor's home country if the person is not originally from the United States, to see if they are wanted there for a crime or have been convicted there of a crime. You don't come with local law enforcement. You seldom, if ever, do any kind of a home visit. If they don't answer the phone after a month or so, then you consider your job done. Given that you cannot remove a child once you've placed her with a sponsor, wouldn't you agree that vetting on the front end should be increasingly more vigorous and not less? And shouldn't a home visit and conferring with local law enforcement be the bare minimum that is done rather than the entirety of what you do?
Thank you for those questions, Senator. I think that we have thorough vetting processes in place. We have child welfare experts throughout the country. We believe a child is best in a family, with a family in a community, not in a congregate care setting.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. But given what you don't do, that's what I find alarming. I don't doubt that you do some things, but what you don't do is alarming. And that's why it shouldn't be surprising to us. This New York Times article that my colleague Senator Cornyn referred to, that indicating that HHS has lost contact altogether with more than 85,000 children. 85,000 children that this administration has negligently placed with all but unknown sponsors, and now ORR has no earthly idea where these children are. And when asked about this, you recently passed the buck entirely and said, aside from the 30 to 37-day follow-up call, you, quote, do not monitor or track the whereabouts of children after they're released from your care, close quote. So am I understanding this correctly, that they're not lost because you're not legally responsible to know where any of them are after you place them, yes or no?
Thank you, Senator. I want to clarify that ORR is not a law enforcement agency or an investigative agency.
I don't doubt that. I'm not accusing you of that. I'm saying you don't know where they are, and now you're disclaiming responsibility. And of the 430,000 unaccompanied children, the vulnerable unaccompanied children who have crossed over our border in the last 34 months since President Biden took office, what percentage of those children's whereabouts can you tell me with any degree of certainty?
Senator, respectfully, I want to state again that it is not accurate to say we have lost, that we have lost them.
Okay, what about my question? What percentage can you tell us where they are?
I don't have those figures directly in front of me, but what
Will you get those to us?
I will take that back to the team. But
let me tell you what's happening to them. Because clearly, you either don't know or you're not saying. They're being trafficked for sex. Doctors Without Borders has repeatedly told us that at a minimum, 30% of the young women and of the children who make this dangerous trek across our southern border, to it and then across it, are sexually abused on their journey. There are other entities that have come up with much higher estimates, some of them double that or more. Can you give us any idea how many of the 430,000 children who have entered our country under the Biden administration have been trafficked either en route or after they leave your care? Any idea at all? Any rough estimate at all? Any approximation of how many of them?
Senator, one is one too many. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but anytime we have a flag for a child in our care, we make a referral. Within 24 hours, we are referring to appropriate authorities, HSI, our Office for Trafficking in Persons. If we really want to change this narrative, we want to provide post-release services and legal services to every child. Thank you.
My time's expired, but look, the sheer volume of this, coupled with the estimates that I've never heard you refute, or that we're talking about probably hundreds of thousands of them who have been trafficked for sex and who have been sexually abused. This is wrong. It's wrong that we set up a system that encourages and then allows and then promotes and perpetuates this process that enriches drug cartels and does so at the expense of child sex trafficking, and it must end. Thank you.